What's up, everyone? I'm Grant Cohn. That's your other host, Rob Schuh. And it's Friday. The Niners practice in 1 hour. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We're not going to waste any time. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing fantastic. The 49ers are 2-0. I'm told that's the best you can do after 2 games. And it looks like we're headed into a positive matchup. So as a 49ers fan, I'm elated.
They have all the wins they could possibly have right now.
They do.
Yeah, all of them. They got all the wins. Okay, let's talk about the first thing, though. Let's go negative right off the bat because that's how we do. Running back depth was basically the strength of the team after the draft. It was like you signed Wayne Gallman, you have Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, and you drafted 2 also. Dang, son, that's a lot of running backs. And now they're all hurt. So what do you think of that?
I mean, it makes me sad because every year we're like, the 49ers injury, it's just unprecedented. The injury bug that has hit this team year after year after year after year. And we go into the season and we say, it can't possibly happen again. Can't possibly happen again, Grant. Possibly. It happened.
It did.
It happened. And thankfully it did happen to the deepest room on the team. But certainly when we got to the draft, you looked at it and you said, why did they take 2 running backs? Well, thank God they took 2 running backs, right? I mean, it's like all of a sudden you need all that depth.
Those are their running backs.
Where's Wayne Gallman when you need him? You know?
Yeah, like all the other guys, Wilson, Mostert, Hasty, Gallman, gone. It's Mitchell, it's Sermon, and some other guys that I haven't heard of until last week. Like Trent Cannon, never heard of that guy when the Niners signed him. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to look him up. Same with Jaquez Patrick. Never heard of you, ever.
Yes, and you had to get the pronunciation correct, which you just did. Very impressive. Jaquez,
not Jacques. One thing I love about football players is if they do, God forbid, have a French name, almost invariably they never pronounce it the French way because that's just not tough. You're kidding? It's football. This is America. We'll need that French stuff around here. They lost World War II, okay? Well, not really. I mean, we had to help them. Sorry, I vaguely remember what happened in that war. Okay, so where they stand right now is Mitchell's looking – John Lynch called him very questionable, which is hilarious. What does that mean?
That's a new designation.
Like they're going to name him questionable because they're hoping and wishing and praying, but it's more like doubtful.
Yeah.
So they're hoping Sermon goes. And the interesting thing about Sermon is it's not up to them. This is what the concussion protocol is there for.
Correct.
Oh, you're desperate. You need this guy to really play 1 week after a concussion. We'll see. It's up to the league. And so far, so good, but they could get the rug pulled out from under them on Sunday morning and be like, didn't pass the protocol. Sorry. What are you going to do? So that's the position they're in.
That would be brutal. And going into this game, running back matters. I mean, this is when we looked at this game on the schedule at the beginning of the season, you looked at the matchup as, we're going to run all over Green Bay. Green Bay can't handle our run game.
Right.
But now you have to question.
But, right, yeah, it's like if the running back is Jaquez Patrick 19 times, are you going to win that game? Maybe. And if they do, then you really got to give it up to Kyle Shanahan. Because I feel like a lot of people have said in jest throughout the years, oh, man, I could run for 100 yards in this system. Well, we're going to put that theory to the test this Sunday night. I have a feeling, not to get too deep into what we're going to talk about this later, I think there's going to be a lot of play action. This is going to be on Jimmy. How can they really run the ball 40 times? They don't have the running backs to do it. They were in this position a lot last year where their running backs were Jerick McKinnon and JaMychal Hasty, and they just couldn't run that much. And so what they had to do was drop back Nick Mullins and throw a lot. And, people blame Nick Mullins for that. Maybe it was Nick Mullins' fault. We'll see what Jimmy does because so far he's been handing the ball off a lot, whether or not they've been getting big gains. And now I don't think they can. Unless Trey Lance becomes a running back.
Ooh, I would love to see Trey on Sunday nights. But, I mean, you got to look at the 4 running backs that none of us know. Trenton Cannon clearly looks like just a special teams ace, right? In there for kick returns, gunner. Kerryon Johnson, that's an interesting one to me on the practice squad, a previous second-round pick for the Lions, right? There's some talent there. Obviously, there was enough to get drafted in the second round. So in this new scheme, is that potentially someone who could get a couple of carries and actually be productive?
If he's healthy, maybe. Let's see. They may call up someone from the practice squad. Like, let's say Mitchell can't go. Then they're going to call up someone, and I'm thinking my guess is it'll be Chris Thompson. because he played for Kyle back in the day.
Yeah, 2013 Washington football team.
Yeah.
And he was a very productive back in 15, 16, 17, catching passes out of the backfield. Anyone in fantasy football knows him because he was a PPR nightmare.
Oh, he certainly was. He used to be really good. Alex Smith, who was it? Was it Alex Smith, Kirk Cousins? Someone used to get him the ball a lot. Both of them, I think.
Yes.
Anyway, so it's dire, but if the Niners could get anyone, Chris Thompson, Kerryon Johnson, to turn back the clock and be serviceable, they can win this game because it seems like the defense is going to really play well. It should. I don't know about the secondary, but the pass rush, almost lost the whole operation here. The pass rush should be really good. But we got to move on to the next topic if that's all right with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It dovetails quite nicely, but bully ball, this is what we were expecting this year. 230-pound dual threat running back round 1, guard round 2, 220-pound running back round 3. We thought we were going to see a whole different offense, and so far it's the Jimmy offense. There is no bully ball. It's the offense from 2019 and 2020. What happened?
That's a damn good question. When I saw them sign Jaquez, I thought to myself, ooh, another move that gets me excited about this idea of bully ball. Can the 49ers continue to win if they're not using their first 4 draft picks? To me, it's crazy, right? Immediately after the draft, everybody was talking about the 49ers are going to run all over everybody. It's going to be this new element to the run game, power run game.
11 on 11 football.
Oh, yeah, it's great. You're going to involve the quarterback. It's going to truly be 11 on 11.
Yeah.
Where is that? What happened?
I don't know. Maybe Kyle Shanahan's going to unveil it in the home opener on prime time. He didn't want to waste it, in Philly or Detroit when no one was watching. Maybe there's a little flair for the dramatic, or maybe it's just not there. Maybe it was a mirage the whole time. Maybe that's for 2022.
Yeah, you have to wonder if what they were expecting from each of those rookies just didn't come to fruition. Aaron Banks certainly didn't show what we were hoping from him in the beginning of the preseason. And so you start to wonder whether we'll get those contributions. If we go through them one by one, I want to hear your expectations on when and if they contribute. Trey Lance, are we going to continue to see the packages? Will he ever average greater than 4 snaps per game? And will we see him on Sunday night?
Yeah, I think I don't know if we're going to see him on Sunday night, but we might, because I don't think the Niners can continue to play offense the way they've played it and win. I think they're going to start losing if they keep playing offense this way, which is super conservative and safety first, not throwing the ball down the field. So what's going to happen is, say this week, they go up against a team that's probably going to be selling out to stop the run. 5-man front, 8-man in the box. Not a great defense, but by alignment, they're going to do a good job against the run game, I would think. And they're going to say, Jimmy, we dare you to throw it long. And we have no pass rush. You can just set up, make a sandwich, eat the sandwich, throw down the field, and there's nothing we can do about it. But you have nothing on your throws. The thing about Jimmy is he's like 2010 Barry Zito at this point. He's throwing 84-mile-an-hour fastballs out there. And that's cool. Like, he's got good anticipation and a quick release over the middle, but when it's time to throw a little bit longer, I mean, it was almost intercepted when he threw to Debo. I mean, it's not good. So if the Packers can do that, and if, let's say, for example, Kyle Shanahan felt, look, we don't have to throw long to beat the Eagles. They're not going to score.
Right.
We can just do this and not commit turnovers and not lose the game. Well, now you got Aaron Rodgers, and I think you got no pass rush you're going up against. I think the game plan is going to be much more aggressive. And if Jimmy can't deliver, well, then maybe they'll give someone else a chance.
I certainly agree with that stance that this is the game where you open it up a bit, because in my mind, you actually have what Jimmy does matches up very nicely against this Packers defense, but we'll get into that later. Next player in the bully ball that I want to know your opinion on is Aaron Banks. Is there ever going to be enough practice time for Aaron Banks to actually claim that right guard spot, or is the only way he gets in above Brunskill if there's an injury?
Well, look, he was hurt and missed a lot of training camp, and that's why he fell behind. But again, what this team fell into was, let's change as little of it as possible and maintain that 2019 vibe. because we don't want to actually acknowledge that we weren't good enough that year. So all the new elements are gone. All the evolutions and tweaks aren't there. It's the same team. And I think that's what the locker room wants. So when they drafted Aaron Banks, it was like, well, he doesn't fit what they did in 2019. He's not an outside zone, really. I mean, he can do it, but he's not what he's good at. I mean,
right.
He's more of a, push the downhill, kind of push the guy in front of him, not a run outside kind of guy. And we're like, oh, well, if you look at Lance and him and Sermon, there's a clear pattern here. There's going to be a change. There's going to be an evolution. And what we're seeing is maybe the vets on the offense were like, not this year, maybe next year. But I think like Sermon's skill set matches up with Lance's. Sermon's he doesn't have a lot of juice to the outside. He's more, stop and start between the tackles, power, zone read kind of stuff. And Banks is more of like double teaming with the center on a zone read between the tackles. I feel like those three, their skill sets match up. And Jimmy just won the election. He was like Biden. He came in at the last minute and won. And people were like, oh, snap. No one saw. Wow, you got a lot of votes right there at the end. Nice. I don't think he really just took this team. I think a lot of pundits, me included, were thinking, geez, 3 first-round picks. Writing's on the wall here. Jimmy's like, no. I'm the popular one. The team likes me. They don't know Trey. They never met Trey. Trey could be their son. Trey's really young. You know what I'm saying? Like Trey could have been, probably wasn't even alive when Alex Mack had his bar mitzvah. If he had a bar mitzvah, which I'm sure he didn't. But you never know. I'm just saying, you can't rule it out.
So you see the three of them as sort of a package deal, that when we start to see more of one, we may start to see more of all.
Who knows? That was the idea. Who knows? Maybe they just, I don't know.
Well, thankfully, the third one, Trey Sermon, it looks like there's a strong chance we get to see a heavy dose of Sermon on Sunday.
Yeah, by default. Yeah, absolutely. I thought he looked good on that run before he got knocked out and concussed by that.
I thought so too. He came off a bit too desperate in that run, and I think it was as a result of being held back in the way that he was. He came out of the gate looking to really impress people and sort of went overboard in that regard and ran straight into a elbow to the helmet.
Well, he does run a little upright, and
he does.
One thing from what I understand, and this is what I heard from a guy who heard a guy who knows a guy, is that the reason Sermon wasn't playing so much is he was fumbling the ball in practice. And I did see him fumble a couple of times in training camp, but maybe this has gone on since they shut it down to the media. So if that's why they didn't trust him, I mean, a fumble by a running back against the Packers could lose the game. So whoever maybe they got Jaquez Patrick because he doesn't fumble or something. I don't know. But if that's why they're not playing Sermon, then that's a good reason to continue to not play him, because giving him 18 carries and that's your issue with him, good luck.
That would be a nightmare in this game.
Jeremy says, is it safe to call Kyle the running back whisperer? Him, Mike McDaniel,
Bobby
Turner, the three. They're a triumvirate of whispering. They whisper from different directions, and the whispers converge.
With the most whispers coming from Bobby Turner. Got to give Bobby his due there.
Oh, yeah. I would think Kyle would as well. I mean, he's been doing this since Kyle Shanahan was like in middle school.
Bobby Turner has been in the league since 1926.
1926. That's a fact. NM says Sewell struggled moving from left to right. Banks will too. That's a good point. They moved him from left to right. He was a left guard in college, right guard with the Niners. I'm guessing next year, maybe what they're thinking is, you know what, let's just move him back to left. And Lakin is going to be a free agent next year. So if we don't re-sign Lakin, if Lakin goes somewhere else or he, falls off and we don't want him, we'll have Banks for next year. They spent their first 3 picks this year on insurance on next year. You know why? Because they're so good. So good. It's alarming how charming they feel.
Yeah, it's alarming how charming I feel. Indeed.
Yeah, indeed. Yes.
That's a bit frustrating as a fan to think of taking an interior lineman in the second round of the draft and thinking, we'll use him next year.
I mean, the Packers did it with 1 pick last year, 1 late first. They spent it on the future, and the whole country ridiculed them, and still does. The Niners trade up to 3 for protection. Then they spent a second round pick on next year and a third round pick on insurance. And people were like, "Hey, that's 4D chess. That is 5D chess." I feel that though.
Well, in fairness, the 49ers are 2-0. And therefore, the media is still on their
No,
side.
they're not.
As soon as they drop a game, I think you'll hear the whispers. But I remain optimistic. I remain optimistic that we will see progression from these rookies. That we will see.
But I'm just an optimist by nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eli says if the power run game is a no-show and it becomes quarterback versus quarterback and we lose, Kyle still doesn't play Lance. What's going to happen? I'm going to lose it. That's what's going to happen.
I think you won't be alone. I think the fan base will be upset.
Yeah. I wonder how far Kyle's going to let it go because Jimmy, his numbers look good. He's not throwing. His intended air yards per attempt are the lowest in the league. The lowest. But he's been winning like the whole time in these games. So I wonder what happens if they fall behind by 10. What happens if he's struggling and he misses that 10-yard throw to Sanu on like the easy ones that he was missing against the Eagles? Just curious, but we're not here to be negative. Let's go to Sunday night. What are you expecting with these Sunday night lights?
I'm wondering, I know Kyle says that, hey, every game is a must win and you got to do everything that you can do every single game. You don't hold anything back. I don't believe him. I don't believe that he didn't hold something back. I think Kyle, with the ego that he has, and let me be clear, I will criticize Kyle for that ego when it gets in the way, but a lot of the times that ego is what makes him so damn good. And so in this instance, I'm praising him for it.
He thinks he's the best and holds himself to that standard.
And in a lot of situations, he is the best, and therefore the ego is warranted.
Right.
And in this situation, underneath the lights, when all eyes are on him, I think that he holds back and wants to let loose to let everybody know that it's a certainty Kyle Shanahan's offense is the bee's knees.
Yes. And I do think that I don't know if he would call it holding things back. He'd probably use a more positive phrase, setting things up.
Yes.
Setting things up. I'm not holding it back. I'm setting things up. So I don't want to necessarily just drop. He must have a few, like 6 to 12 plays that he feels are just lock, cinch touchdowns. This is my 6-pack, 12-pack of sixes right here. When do I want to call him? Do I want to call them all against the Lions? Do I need to? Now, I criticize him the first 2 weeks. I feel like you get your foot on a team's neck, end it. Because if weird things happen in the fourth quarter, like in the Lions, you had a fumble from Kittle and Debo to make that game interesting. And as I've talked about this before. I'm fetching again. I'm just saying, yes, I do think he sets things up. I think he holds things back. And Sunday night against a team that he knows he can't just win. I mean, I'm sure he thought against the Eagles, I can win this game scoring 17 points.
Right.
I can. And he was pretty clear early on. Against the Packers, no, you can't think that. You can't delude yourself into thinking 17, 18. You got to think you need 25. You need 25 at least to win this game. And so that's going to require some creativity. It's going to require getting the ball to George freaking Kittle for a change. How about that?
Yeah. How about that?
That's your captain. Debo's not a captain. He's your captain. He's your highest paid skill position player. He's supposed to be an all-pro. Get the ball to Kittle. Like, he's only getting the ball at the line of scrimmage. I think the stat is like average yards downfield per catch or per target. It's like 1.9. Everything he's getting is after the catch, which was Debo last year. That's not his game. Come on, like, let him do more. Get him the ball down the field. They're going to have to do that in this game. And if Jimmy doesn't pull the trigger, I know someone who will. I know his name. I can call him up.
Yeah, I think Kyle would use some better colorful language to paint the picture of why all of a sudden these explosive plays come out on Sunday night. It's matchup dependent. Packers were, allowing certain things but the reality is that he's saying by matchup dependent, the matchup against Philadelphia was easy enough that I didn't need to go into my bag too deep. I didn't need to get into those plays.
Right. And same with the Lions. Like, I can just throw a million passes to Debo Samuel, and that's enough. Well, You've done that 2 weeks in a row, and Debo's great. But I think you need to get someone else established in this game. It's not going to be a running back. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's going to be Ayuk. It's got to be Kittle. He's your captain. He is your highest paid skill player. You cannot have him be a freaking offensive tackle / like you're using him like you use Juszczyk. Dude. And I don't even like the way you use Juszczyk. That's ridiculous. But, hey, man, throw the ball to Kittle down the field.
I'm more optimistic than you are, but I agree. I'm in lockstep on the idea that if the 49ers play on offense the way that they did the first 2 weeks, they will probably lose this game. You cannot come out that way against the Packers.
Ain't no probability about it.
You cannot have a first quarter where you don't get a first down. Green Bay's going to jump all over you.
Their game plan against the Eagles was like, let's just not turn the ball over at all. Let's run the ball into 8-man fronts. Let's call a bunch of screens. We're not going to turn the ball over. We're just going to basically let the Eagles lose this game, and they did. You got Aaron Rodgers now. I know he's going to get sacked, and he's going to get roughed up. But the Niners pass rush could get tired too. It's a long game. And if it's close in the fourth quarter and the Niners pass rush slows down, it's over. It's over.
That's a disaster. That's a nice transition into our next topic there, Grant.
Our next topic. Yes. Someone said it's the perfect game for Lance to start. Man, it's the perfect year for Lance to start. Every day is a good day for Lance to start. Sorry.
Grant, it is 2019 vibes right now. The 49ers are undefeated. Jimmy is undefeated. It's Jimmy's team.
Yeah, it is. Good for Jimmy, man. 2019 vibes. Are we supposed to be on this topic?
Yes, defensive line dominance.
Okay, here we go.
I mean, here we go. In my mind, the Packers' offensive line's a train wreck waiting to happen, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can the vaunted 49ers defensive front take advantage? This is the key question.
Of course, absolutely. I mean, yes, absolutely.
Who do the Packers have? Let's go through it. On the left side, left tackle, the second guy is nicked up, so they're probably going to their third stringer or swing Billy Turner over from right tackle to left tackle.
You got to do it.
The third string left tackle starts at right tackle. Disaster.
Yeah.
Left guard, a rotation between weeks 1 and week 2, so they don't know who they're going to start there at left guard. Center's a rookie, right guard's a rookie, a second and a fourth round draft pick. It's primed to take advantage of. This is an inexperienced line, an inexperienced center against a dominant defensive front. Are you expecting them to trash Aaron Rodgers on Sunday?
Oh, yeah. I would expect them to get 4 or 5 sacks. Doesn't mean the Niners will win. But, oh, yeah. And I think the only thing that the Packers can do, I'm trying to think how this game's going to play out. You play split safeties against Aaron Rodgers. If you play single high, that's one-on-one on the outside, and he's not afraid, and your corners aren't that great. They're not proven. So you play 2 safeties, and you say, okay, well, they got a good running back too, but you got to pick your poison here. And Aaron Jones, you're the one. So 2 high safeties. If the Packers can get their run game going and they can get a play action game going and they can just slow down the pass rush and get Rodgers on the move a little bit, you don't have to be fast, just rolling out on play action. Well, there are opportunities to throw down the field against the Niners secondary from what I saw on the coach's film. Jalen Hurts tried. Jalen Hurts is not Aaron Rodgers. So it needs to dominate. It needs to – what Aaron Rodgers – the thing about him, you can get him to quit. He'll lose heart. And if he feels like it's just not going well, this is what you want to talk about 2019 vibes? That D-line would sort of crush your will early. They did it to Baker Mayfield. They did it to Rodgers multiple times. So let's see if they can do that. But I think there's also it's paired up with an offense that just jumps all over you quickly. And the Niners did that week 1. They did not do that week 2. Can they do it in this game? I'm curious because there's not much that they're hitting you with right now. George Kittle said, Kyle likes to wow people under the lights. Is going to be okay, man. Let's see it. Because there's only so many ways you can throw the ball within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage and ask Debo and Kittle to break 7 tackles. There's only so many ways.
Thankfully, when looking back at the Packers defense, they have struggled against that very same attack. If we just continue to do what Jimmy does real well.
Soft team, can't tackle. They have good skill position players. They have good little guys, but their big guys are never good. They're the same. They've been the same team basically for since I was in college, man. They're the same team ever since Rodgers has been there. Let's just spend way too much money on him and give him one good wide receiver, one good pass rusher, one good offensive lineman, maybe 2, and that's it. That's one good corner. The rest of the team is whack.
I agree with you that the 49ers have to keep it in front of them. If you give Rodgers too much time or let him escape the pocket and allow him to get deep to Devontae Adams or MVS, that can truly open this game up in a way that 49ers fans do not want to see. You have to get on Rodgers early. I saw him completely check out in week 1 and even in week 2. I mean, let's not forget that the Lions went into halftime leading that game 17-14.
Freaking Lions.
The Lions.
And you can't check out against the Lions. They're at home. They stink. You're not going to give up against the Lions. But the Niners, you're on the West Coast, you could give up.
Yes, you can. It is Sunday night. The lights are on. So
he doesn't care.
You would think. But
I've seen him quit on primetime many a time.
The looks he shot at the sideline when anything didn't go his way, when the wide receiver broke left, when he was expecting him to break right, it was just disgust. And I can't tell if it's anger at LaFleur, if it's anger at the receiver, or if it's just I'm Aaron Rodgers and everyone else isn't doing what they're asked.
That's it. And he gives the Aaron Rodgers look all the time, and I can't stand it. But look, this secondary is a little overrated right now. The Eagles saw something on film and they went after it. Remember, week one, the Lions had no receivers. The Eagles were very, very aggressive. And Rieger caught it. He just stepped out of bounds by this much. They had a 91-yard catch that would have been a touchdown had they not been on the 3-yard line. There was one to Devontae Smith that Tart broke up because Hurts threw it late and short. There are opportunities there. And if the Niners front seven doesn't totally dominate this game, they're going to lose. It's Aaron Rodgers. But they have and they can and they probably will. So let's answer the question. Oh, go ahead.
They have elite safeties as well that as long as those veterans are playing sound football behind the deep passes, I think that's the combination. The front seven and the safeties deep help cover up the cornerback deficiencies.
Yeah, and I think the Niners were a little more aggressive against the Eagles. It's a run-first team. You're playing 8 in the box, single high safety. So they took their shots. If you play too high against the Packers, 2 safeties, and you're inviting the run, and you're opening up the middle of the field, then you're going to see Robert Tonyan get involved. And we'll see if, he's not going to beat you. So I think teams feel like they have much more success against Rodgers and Mahomes. They're the threat. Take away the long chunk throws and make them execute like Jimmy. Make them play like Jimmy. Dean says, what do you think about the potential of the NFC title game happening this weekend between Tampa Bay and the Rams? About Arizona, though. What about Arizona, though? But yeah, no, it's positive. It's definitely potential. It'd be fun to watch.
Certainly,
what about this
two
game?
Of the top teams.
What about this game this Sunday? Y'all writing off the Niners?
Unbelievable,
dang, bro. Great opportunity to start Lance. GB defense poor at rushing and allows time in the pocket along with enhancing the run game. That's a good point. If you do want to let Lance throw, now's a good time. They didn't want to let him throw against the Eagles. Maybe it's because that is a really good pass rush. They let him throw against Lions. They have no pass rush.
But wouldn't you agree that it seems Kyle Shanahan really wants control over this quarterback situation? Like above all else, he wants to dictate when and how Lance is used and if he ever takes over, right?
Yes, but I think what's ironic is he doesn't have control. The locker room has control. Jimmy has control.
I would say if he inserts Lance, if there is any doubt in this game on Sunday Night Football, if he inserts Lance, you can't walk that back.
Yeah, agree. I agree. You got to make it look like, hey, it's just for one play. It's nothing to do with Jimmy. It's not anything about Jimmy. It's just we just want to
no reflection on you, Jimmy. Yeah. This was matchup dependent.
In that outfit. Just wanted to say. Sorry. Okay. It's reality says be on the look for the AZ audit released at 4 p.m. being released by Wendy Rogers. I have no idea what that means.
All right, Wendy.
Who's Wendy Rogers? What's the AZ audit? What are we talking about? I liked it though. It was
AZ. That's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up. Ayuk theory supported Lance over Jimmy, upset Kyle. Upset Jimmy. We are all, look. Every conspiracy theory is like Kyle's in control. Kyle's the puppet master. Why is Kyle doing the things he's doing? What if Jimmy's in control? Jimmy has the locker room. If you have the locker room, you're in a good spot, especially if you win most like 3/4 of your games and your numbers are good. Like what is Kyle going to do? What's he going to do? That's what I would say if I were Jimmy. What you going to do?
Kyle sees the locker room, right? He can see what they're sensing and sense that as well. And so it's not as if those two things are completely independent. It's a combination of what Kyle's seeing, what the people on the field are seeing, what the players are seeing, and then coming to some decision about, this is Jimmy's team at this point.
Oh, they're talking about Biden. They said that the AZ audit has to do with Biden. I voted for Biden. Can we?
Good Lord.
Can we not? Can we not? All right, let's move on. The Packers' 3 elite players on offense and defense on the both sides of the ball. Let's break them down because that's the whole team.
Yeah,
The whole
it
team.
really is. They have 3 elite players on each side. It was 4 on defense, and then Zadarius Smith with the back injury brought it down to 3. So just to make sure everyone's on the same page, offense, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, elite.
Yeah.
So the question there is, how can you hope to contain those 3? And then on defense, how can the 49ers offense scheme around Jair Alexander, my apologies, Kenny Clark, and Darnell Savage? Right? Those are the 6 players that the 49ers need to be concerned with. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, it's about disrupting the offense. If on the offensive side for the Packers, if the 49ers could get into the backfield, if they can sack Aaron Rodgers 4+ times in this game, it is going to get ugly early. And we'll see if Rodgers actually checks out in this one. I can see the middle getting clogged up by Kinlaw and DJ Jones trying to take away Aaron Jones on the interior. And then All-Pro Fred and Al-Shaair flying from sideline to sideline, and the safeties helping on Devontae Adams. To me, when you only have a 3-headed attack on offense, that seems easier to contain.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they're going to make containing Aaron Jones a big priority. I think they're going to go light box, take away the long plays, give their corners help, because again, those corners, they look good in the stat sheet. On film, they're getting burned deep, and they've been getting let off the hook by Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts. So you need to give them safety help. Probably need to play some zone 2. Curious to see if Aaron Rodgers can play the quick game. It's going to be there. Will you check down? Will you play mature? Because he's so impatient. He wants to throw down the field. I really don't like Aaron Rodgers. There's something about him that I don't like at all. And it's not that I root against the 49ers. I root for teams to come in and give their best, and I always feel like he doesn't. And I'm like, man, you're such a dog. What is your problem? Brady doesn't do stuff like this. You can count on Brady to give his best, and it's a lot of fun. But Rodgers, well, we didn't see the best Rodgers today. Maybe next year. Come on, put on a show, dude. You're supposed to be special.
So you think the key to success for Rodgers is to be a bit more like Jimmy? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
I think the Niners are going to force him into that kind of a game. They're not going to let him get Devontae Adams one-on-one on the outside. And if they do, shame on the Niners. Because if he sees single high, the ball's going to be out so freaking fast, and it's going to be like, okay, you go, and I'm going to throw, and you're going to win it. Because nothing against Diamador Lenore. It's Devontae Adams. So
right.
You got to make him throw shorter. And I saw Chris Sims put up a video this week saying teams have more success against it. Rodgers is good against both, but fewer yards per attempt, split safeties, take away the sideline throws, and make him throw over the middle where Fred Warner is. You want to throw over the middle? Great. Well, you better move Fred Warner out of the way because he's 6'3" and he can jump and he has great hands. And he picked off Jimmy Garoppolo about 1,800 times, roughly, in camp.
Roughly.
Carry, the 2.
Now, do you think that the 49ers, with this too high safety look that you're talking about, are going to be able to contain Devontae Adams?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see if they have their corners all up in his face. Jason Verrett would be all up in his face.
Yes, he would.
And Diamador Lenore has played that way so far. Are you going to do that? Now, if he has safety help, great. But if not, I don't know. You might want to back up. I don't know. You gave up a 91-yard catch to someone named Kez Watkins. You might want to back up. I'm really curious to see how aggressive the Niners are in this game with Devontae Adams. Because last year, Mosley got roasted by him. And I don't know why we expect anything else. Lenore, you did a very good job against. I don't even know, man. This pass rush better step up.
That's my feeling. I don't think we can contain Adams, a proud Palo Alto High School alumni, I must say, as a fellow Pali grad. Go Vikings. But he is just unstoppable. And the 49ers certainly don't have the player that you want to come up and play man-to-man on Devontae Adams. And you have to think that with Rodgers back there, if he gets time on any of those dropbacks, he will make the 49ers pay. I anticipate that Devontae Adams, even in a loss, will throw for 100+. Will catch 100+ yards.
I got you. Yeah, I don't think there's a whole – oh, man. Basically, the only way the Niners can shut down the Packers is if the offense steps up and puts this game away. The offense is going to have to put the game away. The defense can't. Like the defense held down the Eagles to 3 points last week, and it went down to the wire. Offense has to put this game away, and if they don't, they're going to lose because Aaron Rodgers, the pass rush will get tired. Aaron Rodgers will get confident. That competitor. Logan says, I don't think that's fair. Lenore's only bad rep was a 90-plus yard TD, and he stumbled on that play. The one where the wide receiver stepped out was perfect. All right, well, let's see him go one-on-one with no safety help against Devontae Adams. Is that what you want?
No, thank you.
I don't want that.
No.
I don't want that for young Diamador.
But I will say that he's right. Lenore has been phenomenal to this point and should be applauded as a 5th-round pick. I mean,
I applaud him. Standing ovation. Eli says, if Niners have a losing record close to the trade deadline and they're in win now mode, any thoughts on trade moves? Well, the quarterback.
That seems
big 3-game
like
stretch for Jimmy. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but this is if they lose the next 3 games, where does that leave Jimmy? What's the point at that point?
Yeah,
and they could win the next 3 games. They could definitely lose the next 3 games.
For sure. No more 2019 vibes if that happens.
We would have some totally different vibes at that point.
2020 vibes.
I wouldn't even want to talk about those kind of, pretty much. All right, let's move on because we only have 15 minutes left.
Yes.
Who wins the 3rd phase of the game?
We talking about special teams here, Grant?
We are. And not too much, but just enough.
So here's what I'm thinking. You could make the case that special teams was the key to the victory on Sunday against the Eagles, right? If it weren't for that blocked field goal. You could make
the case, it was.
It was. If it weren't for that blocked field goal by Kinlaw and those phenomenal punts by the wise investment, 4th rounder for Mitch Wishnowsky, the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Thank you very much, Mitch. Then we would have lost that game. So in comparing the two units,
Jackhammer made the point on the film review that I did on Tuesday. He said, really, if they hadn't pinned the Eagles down at the 3, that long throw to Kes Watkins most likely would have been a touchdown. Hadn't thought of it that way because I was focused on Tart's tackle allowing the goal line stand, but it was first the punt, which allowed the tackle, which allowed the stand. So yes,
that's a fact.
Yes.
And I say that in jest. I actually don't have a problem with the Mitch Wishnowsky draft pick. I think he's been great to this point. This year in particular, you could question it being a 4th rounder. But anyway, I digress. So when we look at the 2 units, for me, what jumped out in watching the Packers is they do actually have a pretty electric kick returner in the rookie, Kylan Hill. One got called back because of penalty against the Lions last week, but he looks quick. And I wonder if the 49ers, instead of, it seems like their routine is to do this sort of pooch kick where it's a high kick that's caught around the 5, forces the returner to return it, but he can't get back to the 25. It's that strategic choice instead of kicking it out of the back of the end zone or into the end zone and starting at the 25. I wonder if we'll see more fair catches on the kickoffs.
Well, it's interesting. I think the Niners have a weapon. It's not just Wishnowsky, but it's like he isn't great at kicking it far, although sometimes he can. He's better at getting the ball to bounce inside the 10 or the 5. Like Pinion would always just kick it in the end zone. It's like, dude, can you stop doing that? Like the 18 would have been better than that. The 17 would have been better than that. Wishnowsky can do it, but you need someone to kind of like catch it. You need someone to be on the receiving end. And you know who is this year? Sherfield, the new guy. He's good at it. So when they don't use Sherfield all the time on special teams, but when they have an opportunity to pin the team at the 3, boom, he's in the game. And he's the one that knocked down that punt that got down to the 3. So they got a little tandem there. It's interesting.
It'll be a good matchup. I mean, Mason Crosby for the Packers was money last year. He's been good so far. The punter that they brought in from Buffalo that they traded to the Rams to get in the preseason is a booming punter. He led the league in gross punting average last year, 50.8 yards, tied for 4th best in league history. So he's got a leg.
What a leg. What a leg. What a leg. Now that's a leg.
So I think if it's close, I actually think in these units, the edge probably goes to the Packers.
Wow. Now, that's a hot take. That's a hot take.
If we are that close, this is my take here, is that if the game is so close that the 3rd phase matters, then we're in trouble. Because
I like that take very much.
Yeah, you're looking at a potential where Rodgers has the lead in the 4th, or you're looking at a potential where Rodgers is down by less than 1 score in the 4th, and then he's in the game. Then he's not checked out. Then he's a magic maker, right? Then he's going to bring the rain.
Okay, we have two topics left. I'm going to flip them from what you have on our sheet because I think let's go with the game in front of us and then the stretch after that. Beating the Packers, we've been talking about it, but let's put it in one coherent 4-minute back and forth.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, the biggest challenge is clearly how do you contain Aaron Rodgers so that he doesn't beat you deep to MVS and Devontae Adams. Those seem to be the biggest threats. And can the defense close out a game? Because against the two previous teams that were lesser matchups, it sure didn't seem that there was confidence on the defense, and the prevent defense didn't prevent anything. So I wonder, will Levi's be partially empty at the beginning of the game because it's Sunday night? People like to tailgate and they don't realize that there's this new COVID protocol to get through security. And so they're late getting in and it's quiet as a church mouse to start the game. Can the 49ers defense get revved up, emotionally charged? It's been 600 and some days since they've played in front of a crowd at Levi's Stadium. Do they come out on top to begin? My hope is yes, they do. They get all over Rodgers early. They force the Packers on defense to run sideline to sideline, defending the entirety of the field, spread them out, take advantage of those linebackers. To me, I think that the 49ers have the advantage from the outset.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the two defensive game plans are opposite. The Niners are going to try to take away the big play and force the Packers to run the ball and to check it down and to have long methodical drives. The Packers are going to do the opposite. They're going to try to take away the check downs and the runs and force Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the freaking ball down the field. And it's going to be interesting. Like, who's going to be more effective? Jimmy throwing down the field or Aaron Rodgers, like, playing with restraint and maturity? I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. I've been saying it all week. The game is going to come down to the Niners offense. I don't think the Niners defense can continue to do what they've done and just hold teams down for most of the game. They held the Lions down until the end. They held the Eagles down the whole game because the quarterbacks. I know that the Packers offensive line isn't great, but if they have 13 points when the fourth quarter starts and the Niners only have 14, Packers could just get hot. I mean, that's what happened in the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
The pass rush was dominating. Patrick Mahomes, who's a young Aaron Rodgers, was struggling. And then, boom, fourth quarter hit, close game. Wasn't even that close. 10-point lead. And dude got hot. Pass rush got tired. So, you got to put them away early. You
do. It's ironic that the 49ers defense wants to force Aaron Rodgers to play like Jimmy G, and the Packers defense wants to force Jimmy G to play like Aaron Rodgers.
Air it out, baby. Yeah.
What I see, though, is that the Packers defense is just not set up to actually force Jimmy to play like Aaron. I just don't think that they have the talent to do that. I feel as though the 49ers and what Jimmy does, what Jimmy's strengths are, match up nicely against the Packers defense, and they will be able to dictate the flow on offense. Now,
all
defensively,
I'm saying, though, is like if they play 8 in the box and try to, like, it's hard to move the ball with runs and screens when there's all those people near the line of scrimmage. And that's why the Niners scored 17 points last week. So if that's how Jimmy wants to play, they're not going to score enough points to win. That's the problem. He's going to need to, because of the Packers offense is going to force him to actually throw. That makes sense.
The only thing I would say to refute that would be that I don't think that we're talking about as talented of a defense here on the Packers as we are on the Eagles. I think when you look back at that Eagles team, you could see a fairly dominant, at least.
I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree with that. The issue with Jimmy isn't that. It's just that if you force him to throw down the field, is he gonna pull the trigger? Will he? And if he does, will he have enough on it? Will he get picked? Because what happens a lot of times is, like, let's say you're throwing a stop route on the outside. He's open. If you don't have velocity and it's not thrown with anticipation, the corner recovers. It's intercepted or broken up. So that's what happened in camp. And Jimmy was like, okay, I can't do that this year. I'm going to do this and stay employed. And it's working so far. But if the Packers can force him to do what he's uncomfortable with, they got good DBs. So I'm curious. If that ball's just like up there in slow motion with Chariots of Fire playing behind, then he's in trouble.
Darnell Savage could be all over that.
Yeah.
I think you are correct in that if the Packers can force Jimmy into that scenario, the 49ers are in trouble. My prediction is that they won't be able to. Jimmy's going to be comfortable doing what Jimmy does. He's going to be getting the ball out on intermediate throws, maybe 1 or 2 shots down the field, but only on wide open plays. I think the vast majority of what Jimmy does is going to be what Jimmy is good at. I see the 49ers defense jumping all over Rodgers, sacking him 4+ times. I've got this one turning out 49ers 31, Packers 17.
Whew. I'm not picking a winner, but I'm glad you are. I'm not ready yet. Okay, the Niners got a grueling 3-game stretch ahead of them. This is the easiest game. They have the Packers at home. The Packers don't play well on the West Coast and are on a short week, but they have the MVP of the league from last year. They went 13-3 last year. They've been to 2 straight NFC Championship games. They're not going to roll over. Oh, they might. They might, but they're a good team. Then they have a better team coming in, the Seahawks. Then you have a better team than that on the road, the Cardinals. What do you expect from this stretch?
First, I'll reiterate what we talked about earlier, which is my stance that if the 49ers play on offense the way in which they played the first 2 weeks, I don't know that they win any of these games. I think that they have to step it up.
I agree with that 100%. If they play like they played on offense the first 2 weeks, they're going to go 0-3. So I don't know if that's getting Kittle involved or getting Ayuk involved or getting Lance involved or just getting Garoppolo to extend himself a little bit more. Or a little bit of all of it. They're going to have to do that.
It has to be all of it with the decimated backfield that we have there. Yeah. Until Mitchell comes back, you really don't know what you have at running
also,
back.
real quick, Kyle, too. Where's the creativity, buddy? Kyle, how about a little bit more from you? I'm not going to put it on the players. I mean, usually in 2019, there'd be plays you'd be like, man, that one play, it got him so open. It was amazing. Not this year. Not this year. It's screens, runs, and the throw to Debo. That's it. That's the whole offense, man. What's up?
It has given you legitimate platform to question George Kittle, and that shouldn't be the case. We should see Kittle running through the center of the field, knocking down defenders on his way to the end zone for that 80-yard touchdown.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
You know, I saw a stat on Pro Football Reference. I don't know if it's correct, but they track broken tackles forced. And apparently since 2019, Kittle has forced 3. And in 2019, he had like 10. And the year before that, he had 9. So I don't know if that's correct, but it's something to look for. I feel like that's a good way to judge his effectiveness. Breaking tackles. Also, get him the ball down the field, Kyle. Please, Jimmy, Kyle, please. You're going to get hurt.
Those two things go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
You're breaking more tackles when you're going against smaller defenders.
DB, thank you very much.
Yes.
Good point.
Kittle can run all over a cornerback.
Yeah. Okay. So they're okay. Yeah. I mean, okay. So they got Rodgers. He's the easiest quarterback they're facing, in my opinion, because he can't move. He can't freaking move. Then they got Wilson and Murray. Whew. Murray's way quicker than Wilson at this point. See, to me, I don't think the Niners did a great job against the quarterback runs and the quarterback scrambles. Once again, I think the team they went against didn't do it enough.
10 for 82.
Why not 16?
Right?
Why would you stop? It's like a basketball team that's shooting 50% from 3 and just shot 9. It's like, why not 30? There's no rule against it. You know there's no rule against that, right? Anyway, Kyler Murray knows exactly how to use his legs. So does Russell Wilson. This is why they got Samson Ebukam, but it's unrealistic to expect the Niners defense to just dominate these next 3 games.
Right. I mean, the true test is these wide receivers that we're about to face these next 3 weeks. God. Devontae Adams. Week after that, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Week after that, DeAndre Hopkins. And when you look at Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray and their ability to extend the play in combination with those elite wide receivers, and then look across the ball at the defenders that are going to have to try and cover those wide receivers for 4-5 seconds sometimes. Ooh, that's going to be tough.
Right. So I'm really excited to see Kyle Shanahan go up against 3 offenses that he should respect. I think what we saw from his game plans is him not respecting the offenses he's going against. Like, look, what is Jared Goff in the line? How much are they going to score? And they should have been 17. It ended up being 33. Should have been 17. That's what it was with the 2 minutes left, and Niners couldn't put him away. And then the Eagles, I think he just thought, we got this. I don't have to do too much. I can save stuff for later. But now, I think the next 3 games, he should be shooting for 28 points each time. Shooting for 28 points.
Yes, it may be matchup dependent when Kyle breaks out those special plays, but these next 3 weeks, Kyle, I'm talking to you, bud. We need you to go deep into your bag.
He should have went to his players on Wednesday and said, look, what it's going to take to win this game is different than the last 2 games. The expectation is we're going to need to score 28. This is how we're going to do it. This is when we're going to take our shots. It's not going to be no shots. It's going to be a bunch of shots because, Jimmy, you're going to have time. You're going to have time. We're going to get you space. You got to hit him because Rodgers is going to hit some.
Yes, he is.
He's going to.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. All right. So, crucial stretch. Hugh Olsen says, rank your top 3 NFL stadiums by experience, food, and design.
Ooh, that's tough.
Seattle's great. New Orleans is great.
What of the ones? So this map back here is of stadiums I've been to. I'm trying to check them all off. I've only been to about 14 or 15, and some have now been closed down. But one of the ones I really liked was Minnesota. Really high quality freaking stadium. Really nice.
I've heard. And another one I was really impressed with, didn't expect to be charmed by, Detroit, Ford Field.
Yes,
downtown.
I agree.
It's really nice.
Great location. Love that area. Good food.
Yep. Those ones. I'm sure the one in LA is fun, but like there are no neighborhoods in LA. There's no downtown.
Number one, and I think you agree, is New Orleans. And it's not the stadium because that's not impressive at all. But New Orleans is just, if you ever get a chance to go there, eat that food, see a game there, do it.
It's a downtown stadium for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. If only they had a mobile quarterback who could extend plays and get Kittle and Ayuk involved in the downfield passing game. I know it's a shame.
If only.
It's a shame.
Maybe next year they'll use a first rounder on that. Wait a minute.
The big irony to me is that Kyle apparently really wanted Mac Jones. He's the same quarterback he has. You're so dissatisfied with Jimmy G that you wanted the same guy, but like 7 years younger. They're the same quarterback, dude. Kyle, it's like dumping a girl and like getting with someone like that looks exactly the same.
Her twin sister.
Exactly the same. You just went from Ross to Russ. You ever see that? You ever see that, friends? David Velez says, great news. All 22 is getting released tomorrow. Hooray, film breakdowns.
Ooh, that's huge. No more black market film.
I need to sign up. Hey, it's 11:52. Niners start practice in 8 minutes. I got to bounce. This was a great show. Glad we could do it on location. Well, at least I was. But you have a better location.
Portland, Oregon, baby.
Yeah, baby. Look at that studio. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll be back later on today. I'll see you till then. Take care. I like that.